This video is kindly sponsored by Pet Sauce. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Canary Room. Today's episode, the ultimate guide to feeding canaries. Now look, over the course of the show, I'm going to go through pretty much every single thing that I do here in the Canary Room. And I want to start by saying that if you have a pet canary, or if you just have a few canaries, if your intention isn't to breed and exhibit canaries, then please do not be put off and overwhelmed by all the things I'm about to go through. Okay, canaries need fresh water, they need good quality seed, the occasional bit of green food, and that will give them a really, really happy life. I've been wanting to do this episode for some time now. I've had numerous requests about what it is I do, how I look after the birds throughout the year, and so I thought I'd commit it to film. But before we get into the show, a massive, massive, massive thank you to two of our subscribers, two of our watchers to the channel. Firstly, to Daniel Antonio over in the US. Daniel, I think we met at the New York Colorbred Canary Club show a couple of years back. Absolutely incredible donation to the channel. Thank you, my friend. Very much appreciated. And to Mr. G. Noy of the Netherlands. Now, Mr. Noy, apologies. The email cut off and I couldn't catch your first name, but you know who you are. Thank you for your incredibly generous donation. It is very much appreciated. So both of you chaps, thanks very much indeed. Means the absolute world to me, and apologies, it's taken me a while. I haven't filmed, I don't think, since the donations came through. So, look everyone, you know what to do. Grab yourself a cuppa, sit back, and as always, enjoy the show. Main element of the canary diet is, of course, seed. Over the years, almost 30 years since I've started keeping canaries, it's fair to say that I've used a variety of different seed mixes. The one thing that has always been consistent for me is the quality of the seed. So you're looking for a shininess in the seed, and also the regularity of supply. And the second issue has been one of the things that I've had the most trouble with. Now, I use a seed mix from Vassen. It's number 16. I get it from Pet Sauce, and I am very lucky in that they have an incredibly good, consistent supply of seed. In fact, by the magic of television, shall we go there now? By the miraculous nature of filming, I've clicked my fingers and now I'm in Pet Sauce, everyone. What's really, really important when you have anything for your birds is a consistent supply. Now, I'm really lucky that Pet Sauce is only about half an hour from my house. So it's not a long drive. I can go down, pick up the bits I need, which is always really good. They have a tremendous amount of seed always in stock. If I pan up there, you can see there's loads of it. And of course, if you're not 20 minutes away, they'll deliver as well, which is really good. So seed, supplies, everything you need. The Vassen mix for me is a really, really good mix. Now, I use the 16, which has got no rape in it. It is a really good quality mix. What I've found, and my first bit of advice to you all, is don't be too quick to change your seed mixes. If you do intend to change them gradually. So blend your new mix in with your old mix and slowly get your birds used to it. I have, a couple of years ago, I won a sack of seed, which is a great prize to have. And I switched my birds over to it, and within a couple of days I noticed the birds looking a little bit off, and I switched back almost immediately. So not saying that it was a bad batch of seed, but my birds were absolutely on the Vassen 16 mix, and it's a mix I've used for the last 3 or 4 years now, and as I say, regular supply at Pet Sauce. In addition to the mixed canary seed, there's a couple of other things that I give the birds. The first is Top Tonic Grains. Again, it's another pet source product. For me, it is the best conditioning seed on the market. It's a mixture of lots of different seeds, all with varying degrees of nutrients, etc., etc. So it's a fantastic conditioner. In the run-up to the breeding season, I mix it in with my egg food as well, and I'll serve it with my egg food as I go. I don't use plain Canary. I don't thin my seed mix down with plain Canary. I know a lot of fanciers do, and very much each to their own in that. I find that just maintaining that balanced mix throughout the year, from breeding season to molt to everything else, is ideal. It works for me. You do what works for you, though. That's really important. The other thing to say is then straight seeds. Now, I'm really, really lucky again. Friends at Pet Source, as we can see from the little cutaway here, have got a fantastic range of straight seeds. Now, I give white lettuce seed, and I've got a little bag of it here. Oh, just out of reach. I don't know if you can see that, if I take that up to the camera. Little bag of white lettuce seed. I give white lettuce seed when I've got young in the nest, so I mix that in with the egg food. I really, really, really like white lettuce. The other straight seed that I use an awful lot of is this. This is Blue Moor, if you can see that. Blue Moor is a really good seed. It's poppy seed, essentially. So I use Blue Moor. I use it round about fireworks night because I think that helps the birds with sort of managing the stress a little bit. I use it in finger draws before the show season and during the show season, and I will also sprinkle a little bit of Blue Moor on the soft food when I'm weaning young birds as well. So that's Blue Moor. A couple of other things here. Where is it? There we go. White Perilla. Now again, white Perilla is a great seed. I'll feed that straight in the finger draws. Find that's really good for gut health as well, white Perilla. And then I've also got some chicory, which I use. And again, I'll give that to them straight. And then the final seed that I've got here is linseed. This is brown linseed. Linseed is really good during the molt because it's a very oily seed. So sort of putting it in the molt gives them that little bit of extra natural oils onto the feathers. What I also do here, this is the jam jar, everyone. This is my own little tonic mix. So in here, I've got Thonia paddy, I've got white lettuce, I've got white Perilla, I've got a little bit of Blue Moor, and I have got, what else is in there? Let me have a quick look. And I will be able to tell you, Evening Primrose, and I have a tiny bit of chia seed as well. And I use that as like a bit of a health conditioning mix. So I put really equal parts of everything in, mix it all together, and I give a finger draw to birds that are just looking a little bit under the weather. So from a seed perspective, we've talked about the main seed that goes in the drawers. We talked about the little tips and treats. I use these on the cages. You can probably see it's a little finger draw. That's absolutely sufficient. I'll feed egg food in that when the birds are in the run-up to the breeding season, and I'll feed the conditioned seed in it. And for a frequency, I'm probably giving Top Tonic about once a week. Don't want to give too much. They get all they need, all the nutrients that they need from their core seed. So about once a week. And again, that differs during different times of the year. So during the molt, I'll give extra seeds, extra treats, tips and bits throughout the molt as well. The final seed to cover then is a soak seed mix. Now, we are at the beginning of April. I have got birds on eggs. I've set 6 or 7 nests. Not ready to start making soak seed yet. There is a video on the channel. Again, I use a Vasen mix for that. Key with soak seed is you want it to chit, which basically means sprout, but you don't want to serve it too sprouted because all of the natural sugars have gone. Soak seed is brilliant for rearing young. challenged, particularly when it gets warm. It sours very quickly, so you've got to be really, really careful with that. Then the final seed, I know I said the last one was final, the final seed I will give is millet spray. I'll only give millet, generally speaking, to young birds as they're being weaned, so and part of the reason to do that, or if there's a lot of birds in the flight, is actually just to keep them distracted. So it's got a lot of sort of fat in it, millet spray, as a seed. So it's a treat more than anything else. So that covers off our seeds. Now, let's have a talk about fruit and veg. Now, I am very lucky where I live. I live on the northwest coast of England in the UK, and in my local village we have a greengrocer's, a very traditional greengrocer's, which has been in the family for generations, and I do what I can to support it. We buy 95% of all of our fresh fruit and veg from there, not just for human consumption, but for bird consumption as well. Now, the key things when it comes to fruit and veg is moderation. Okay, you can overfeed. So the green veg that I give my birds, I give them Savoy cabbage, particularly during the winter months. Generally speaking, if I'm doing a Sunday roast, not everybody in the house likes Savoy cabbage, so there's generally half left for the birds, and that goes in the big flight cages behind me, so that's in the winter months. Broccoli is an absolute favourite. You can get broccoli from the supermarkets. Obviously, you can get all of these from the supermarkets. One of the things I find with supermarket broccoli, birds aren't that interested in it. The broccoli I'm able to get from my local greengrocers is Lancashire grown. It's absolutely devoured, and unlike the supermarket stuff, it doesn't last for ages. So God only knows what the supermarket stuff's got in it. So broccoli is another great source for them. I will occasionally use purple sprouted broccoli as well. It just depends what's in season at the time for the birds. So broccoli, it's a great addition for the young as well, and certainly when I'm weaning. Then in terms of the sort of more, I guess it's kind of half salad-y, I use kale. Again, in the winter months, I use kale in my soft food as well, more of that later. But kale, I find, is a really, really good way. It's got a lot of keratin in it. Got to be really careful with kale, though, because it can score the birds. So I've seen birds that look like they've been colour-fed, and once they pass the waist, it's really orangey. So little bit of kale doesn't hurt. Then we move into the salady style veg. Well, I love watercress and cress, actually, for the birds. I give most of my birds, when they're rearing chicks, I give them watercress. I will also give spinach, but spinach, I'm told, acts like a bit of a magnet. So spinach can suck iron as well as give iron, so you've got to be careful you don't overload the spinach, but I will give fresh spinach to the birds as well. So that's the majority of the greens. I will, when they're in season, I'll give them half sprouts as well, and they seem to enjoy picking over those. When it comes to the fruit, apple is absolutely essential for me. A bird, particularly around the show season, the natural sugars in an apple can really help bring a bird back around, and so I'll often give the birds fresh apple. The other fruit that I give is tangerines, or satsumas, or nectarines, or whatever you call them where you are. And I find, again, particularly in the winter months, they seem to be around at Christmas, a half tangerine is incredibly enjoyed by the birds, and the vitamin C in it is fantastic. And speaking of vitamin C, a real favourite, again, it's an addition to the soft food, is kiwi. I absolutely love kiwi in the soft food mix, but more importantly, so do the birds. I mentioned it already a couple of times, so let's have a look at soft food, shall we? Soft soft food comes in a variety of forms. Soft food, egg food, call it what you like. There are a number of different sort of preparatory mixes on the market. My advice to you is find a supply that your birds will eat first and foremost, and find a supply that is regular. Okay, that's really important. Now, in my soft food, I use a couple of different mixes. So I've been using Avimax from Pet Source, and I've just got a couple of new samples of this year. So this is going to be for the white birds. I'm going to give that a try. This is a white ground soft food mix, so that should help to avoid the birds going too yellow in the flight and butt feathers. It won't completely stop it, but it should help them getting too much yellow on them. The other thing that I use in the egg food is I use a pearl morbide. Now, I actually use Pet Source's own pearl morbide because it's the real one. It's a really, really good product. I think it's something I highly recommend. I think it's invaluable, and I will also feed it neat, particularly for young birds fledging, because it's a great way of getting moisture in them. In the egg food, again, I picked this up from Pet Source. It's fruity patty. It smells absolutely delicious. And I think once you've got, a mixture of different things in your egg food, and there's a balance to be struck here. What you don't want to do is put too much protein in, because you'll end up blowing the birds' liver and kidneys, and that, let me tell you, isn't going to do them any good. But I then put a lot of natural fruit and veg in. Peas, petit pois, kale, carrot, apple, kiwi, trying to think what else goes in, carrot, lots of different things go in my egg food mix. That's all blended together. It's stored in little ice cubes, but big ice cubes, in the freezer, and so I can take it out the evening before I'm ready to use it the following day. In the run-up to the breeding season, I'll put grog in the egg food mix. Again, that's another product from Pet Source. That's a Dr. Coutil product. I like his products a lot, and that is designed to eliminate and reduce black spot in young canaries. So, on to medication now, I think. Challenge we often have with canaries is when you see they're poorly, they're almost too far gone. And so what I try and do is more of a preventative approach to medication than a cure approach to medication. Now, my absolute go-to for medication is Shane at Direct Bird Products. Shane has a range of different medications available, and over the years I've bought a number of different products from Shane which have really, really, really helped me out. Now, the one I use probably the most, and you can argue, is it a medication or not, is a mite treatment, and that is, of course, Exalt. I've been using Exalt for 3 or 4 years now, and touch wood, no sign of any mite in the shed. And as any canary breeder knows, mite, whether they're northern, whether they're red, are a nightmare. They will kill young, they will make healthy canaries poorly very, very quickly. So I get my Exalt from Shane. I also get Baycox from Shane, and a number of other sort of medications and treatments as well. So for me, prevention better than cure. So every year before the breeding season, I'll run Baycox through the birds, and I'll flip it occasionally to doxycycline. Important thing is, I'm not a vet. Very few of us are medically practitioners, experts. There are a few people I really trust in the hobby to take advice from. Kev Taylor, shout out to you. You're one of them, mate. And I think there is a number of people who are sort of learned and understand the medication. So for me with medication, not a massive big cabinet here. It's about prevention more than cure. And we'll finally move on now to supplements in the water. When it comes to water supplements, there are 3 that I use consistently. Okay, so the first one is from a good friend, Sam, at Sam1. And it is Sam's own multivitamin. And to be honest, for me, it's as good as anything else on the market. So I use Sam1's multivit mix. I think it's fantastic. I give it about once a week. I will also use Origo Stim. Now, Origo Stim gives the birds a sort of natural clean out as well. And again, I'll give that once a week. And then the other thing that I give, and I will swap this up and change this around a little bit, is a calcium and vitamin D solution. And you've got to be careful. You don't feed that the same day if you've got grog in the egg food. So you've got to be careful when you feed that. In the breeding season, it's generally twice a week. I knock grog off after the first, up to the first eggs are laid, really. So I try not to sort of do too much with that to make that an issue. Then it comes to the end of the final thing to say, which is minerals. Now, to grit or not to grit, that is the question. Again, Sam is an incredible supplier of all of these things that I use. From Sam, I'll get a really fine oyster shell grit. I will give grit. It isn't on the cages all the time. I will generally sprinkle some in when I've cleaned out the bedding. And within that, I mix Sam's pink mineral mix, which I think is brilliant, and it just seems to keep the birds in really tip-top condition. I also use Sam's black mineral mix, which, again, I think gives the birds that little bit. It's got granulated charcoal in. For me, it's something, and you'll notice the birds will go to it or they won't go to it. And that sounds really stupid to say. If they need it, they'll take it. But actually, it needs to be available for them to do that. And so I will put it on in the little egg food drawers, maybe once, twice a week or so. And then I'll use, again from Sam, granulated seaweed. I generally throw that into the egg food mix, but I really, really like that. And it's about variety, I guess. So I've described this as an ultimate guide, and I know I talk quickly, and you've probably been there scribbling down notes going, oh my God, I can't remember everything he said. The key is consistency, okay? So I have a feeding regime. What does that look like? It looks like there will be days of the week where I give certain supplements in the water, and they are every day. There will be, when I say every day, there'll be every day that every Wednesday, every Saturday, every Sunday, whatever the day is, they'll be consistent week in, week out. Tidbits, once a week, okay? You just don't want to overgive. You don't want to give too much in there, but we have a responsibility as bird keepers to enrich the lives of our birds. And, it's something I take seriously, and I'm sure you do too. So listen, if you've enjoyed this show, please hit a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, everyone, take care.